Hey guys, it's Rick with the Digital Divide, coming at you today with a tech review for the Amazon Fire 7. This is the newest model. I know some of you are probably wondering why I'm reviewing this tablet because it's been out for, 10, 11 months now. The reason I'm reviewing it is because I bought it solely to use with Microsoft's new cloud streaming service, which is xCloud. Unfortunately, they are not going to put that out on iOS devices, so I just needed a cheap Amazon device specifically for that, and I figured while I have it, I might as well throw up a review for anyone that might be interested in buying it. So without further ado, here we go. Alright guys, I want to get started with the positive. It's cheap. Moving on. The new Amazon Fire 7 features a 7-inch IPS display, 16 or 32 gigabytes of internal storage, which can be expanded with a micro SD card up to 512 gigabytes, a faster 1.3 gigahertz quad-core processor, up to 7 hours of battery life, although in my testing that's more like 4, hands-free with Alexa, which is a first for the Fire series, 1 gigabyte of RAM, which is way too small, and a really horrible 2 megapixel front and rear-facing cameras with 720p HD video recording, and it also has dual-band Wi-Fi. Let's talk about that Wi-Fi, shall we? For some reason, even though the Fire tablet was literally 3 feet away from my wireless router, the most I would get download-wise was between 50 to 60 megabits per second, while my iPad got at least double or triple that on average. Speaking of the iPad, here's a picture for size comparison. While we're on the topic of comparisons, I did try to run a Geekbench benchmark on both my dual-core 2018 iPad and the quad-core Fire, but the Fire was so slow that it literally crashed every single time I tried. And I'm not joking, I tried 6 or 7 times to complete this benchmark. It would get about 80% of the way on the Fire, and then it would just crash. So I couldn't get numbers for you there. Now, I told you guys that I bought this specifically to use for Microsoft's upcoming xCloud service, since that's not going to be available on iOS devices. But since that doesn't launch until September the 15th, I figured I would try the next closest thing to get an idea of what I can expect. So I sideloaded the Play Store onto the Fire and I downloaded Google Stadia. Google Stadia is basically the same exact thing as xCloud. It is a cloud-based online gaming streaming service. So I figured this would be a good point of comparison. Here's some footage from that.
Agility.
As you can see, there was a lot of stutter going on there. Even though it's just streaming data and it's not natively running the game, the CPU is so weak that it's having a hard time decompressing it fast enough, so it was stopping on a regular basis. It did smooth out a little bit towards the end there, but overall not a great experience. Now I want to cover the camera quality on this thing. This next image should tell you everything that you need to know about the quality of the camera on the new Fire 7. Moving on. Alright guys, next I want to touch on the video performance of this thing. It's actually not horrible. I did load YouTube and I pulled up a video in 720p, which is the resolution of the screen, and it played fine. There weren't any major issues, so there's that. So what's new with this model of Fire is that it can be used as a standalone Alexa device, kind of like an Echo Show. So that's cool, but the problem is, in my experience at least, I found that I've had to ask her multiple times before she finally clicks in and registers a response.
Alexa, what's the weather like today? Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Currently,
in Braddock Heights at 77 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect intermittent clouds.
And in addition to that, if you're going to use this for a smart speaker, the quality of the sound on this thing is horrible. I happen to own 2 Echo Shows, and I can show you just a quick sound bite of what it sounds like on the Echo Show versus what it sounds like on the Fire 7.
Rock.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
wrong.
Proved over and over again.
Wrong.
Now, the official Amazon case for this thing is okay. It's nothing special. The way that it props up the Fire, I'm not a fan of. It's super awkward to set up. It took me a minute to figure out how it even works. And even when it works, it doesn't work well compared to the Apple's more elegant design, I think. So one thing I could see this device being used for is a dedicated e-reader. If you wanted this to read comic books or to read just books in general, I think you could do worse. It's not a bad device for that. As you can see, comic books look okay on it. It's relatively crisp, so not bad for that use. So in summary, this thing sucks. I think I've made that pretty clear. It is just not a good tablet, especially when you compare it to something like an iPad, and I know that the iPad cost considerably more money, but even at $50, I just don't think this is a good buy. It's just too slow. On paper, the specs look okay, but in real-world use, it's so sluggish. I mean, it doesn't do anything particularly well. It doesn't run half the games on the App Store, even simple ones like card games. I tried running Hearthstone on this thing, and it was chugging along. I mean, it's just not a good buy, I don't think. Even if you can get it on Black Friday at a discount, I mean, you can get these things for like $30 on sale sometimes, and even at that price point, I would still recommend that you save your money and get something nicer. And it's also a weird size because it's kind of too small to be a tablet, and it's weirdly close in size to my iPhone 11 Pro Max, so I'd rather use that. It's way faster, and I'm only sacrificing maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of real estate. I don't see the point. So that's gonna do it for me today, guys. If you agree with me, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. If you have any comments, feel free to throw them my way. Thanks.